Hey there, Dream Chasers. This is Hannah Pryde, and welcome to Pryde and Shine, the podcast where we explore the innovators and influencers of Dubai. Proudly sponsored by Pride Migration, your dedicated partner to make Dubai your reality. Welcome to the show, Harry Lewis, co-founder of TGE Ventures. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Always good to have you. So tell us, most people, including myself, if you research Harry, not much comes up, and I've already got in trouble for it. But knowing you and knowing a bit about your business, in 9 months, it already equated to what, 32 million in value?
Yes. Yeah. 9 months after we started, we ended up acquiring a business that actually started off as one of our clients. And yeah, throughout that acquisition, it put a 32 mil US valuation on us.
Which is wild. You're 26 years old, you've built a business within 9 months, and you just acquired WorkX, which for people that don't know, is a decentralized recruitment agency, I guess, for like the crypto Bitcoin world.
Yeah, pretty much like a decentralized job economy. So traditionally with like recruiters, they charge 30 to 40% in like recruitment fees. And this is similar to like Fiverr, where people can post jobs that they want filling, and there's like a 1% platform fee. So quite efficient.
Very efficient. How have you gone from, obviously this acquisition has just leveled your business up tremendously, but how did you actually start building TGE Investors? Obviously you're so young, your business partner's young. How have you been able to build such strong foundations in such a short period of time?
So, well, TGE Ventures was actually, it came into fruition by chance, because obviously myself and my business partner Harrison, we started off our relationship by like working with one another. Mm-hmm. So I used to work for another company where he was a client of, and because I'd been working for that business for about 18 months, I learned a lot about what you should do in the industry and what you shouldn't. And then kind of just, took the plunge to pull away and start up. So I'd say I started TG Ventures with a lot of knowledge of exactly how to execute. Yeah. Which often a lot of people don't do.
I mean, they definitely don't, but there is something I want to really point on there is relationships. You obviously were able to build such a strong relationship with Harrison through that company. What would you say you'd done to really set a good foundation to build relationship to now be business partners?
Yeah, it's weird. We just kind of have like a zero bullshit approach to one another.
Great.
Yeah.
My favourite.
Harris and I were, how we met was because I outreached to him on LinkedIn. Okay. So we weren't mates beforehand or anything like that. And, we both enjoy making money, and we realised that we could make money together. And we have a very clear dynamic between our relationship, whereas I'm the visionary and I look forward to what we need to do and how we need to position ourselves, and then he's like the operator and executor who goes and does it all. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess that's our relationship.
I mean, do you know what? It's really interesting because it's like chalk and cheese, I guess. There's always someone that's like the visionary, the manifestor, the creator, because they create the vision, and then someone's the operation in an organisation. I'm definitely on par with you. I can see where we're going, but I sometimes can't get everything in place to get me there because admin is not my strong point. But
no, I can tell.
No, we're rubbish. But when it comes to visionary, something you just touched on, we've spoken about it before, but you're a major manifestor. You speak things into real life. Like, where did you get all that from? How have you found that?
A book called Think and Grow Rich. So if you've not read it, hugely valuable, and basically says that anything that you want in the world is achievable. Just write it down, speak it into existence, because obviously speaking, it creates energy and nothing happens without energy, blah, blah, blah. But one of the most important things is what you give back for achieving your goals and such. Mm-hmm. So, you walk into my office at home, and like the whole plan for the business moving forward, down to like the week by week tasks that I have to do, is all written all over the walls. And I have someone who holds me accountable to it each week. And Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what? It's like what people now say, if you have a main vision, you break it down into quarters. Is that what you do at the start of each year, is kind of like have the vision and break it into like quarterly or monthly?
Yeah, so in December, me and Harrison flew out to Canada to go and meet like our mentor, and we sat down in a room for 10 hours and planned exactly what we needed to do week by week throughout 2025 in order to achieve, what we want to achieve.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've got two questions there. Your mentor. How
Yeah.
have you been able to find a mentor for your business that's been able to break it down that much? Would you classify him as like an extension of your business, or is he just like a business mentor for you both?
Yeah, I'd half argue he's becoming more of an extension of our business now, because he's taking on some more responsibilities and supporting us with our exit strategy. And he's got, backing of being a CEO for a major multi-billion-dollar Canadian insurance and financial services group. Before that, he's been C-suite at a Canadian bank. So, excuse me. He's got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I met him on a cruise ship in 2018.
Really?
And yeah, didn't speak to him for about 4 or 5 years. Got back in touch with him, and yeah, I said, "This is what we're doing. Do you fancy fucking helping me?"
Yeah. Was it through LinkedIn?
No, that was through his wife that time.
I was about to say, I was like, you really like LinkedIn. And then going back to LinkedIn, like, have you built a lot of relationships? Obviously within the blockchain and crypto world, I feel like everyone uses X and LinkedIn, and they kind of like outlay what they're doing, how they connect with people. Is that something you, I guess, always have done?
Yeah, I'd say it's funny because 90% of the time I've been on LinkedIn and done that extra outreach or message that extra person. It's always been those one extra messages or outreaches that I've done that have always yielded like the best relationships. And it's kind of like sometimes the meetings that I can never be asked to turn up to as well always end up being the ones that earn me the most money.
I mean, your whole business seems to really be built, I guess, on relationships. You're helping startups get from the ground up and launch them into the market. What would you say that like your key fundamentals are to building foundations within a relationship to have that business?
I would say like transparency. So off the cuff, before we engage with the clients, they will have an exact understanding of like our forecast for what we're going to earn off them and exactly how we're going to do it. Just because I feel like, especially in the industry that we operate in, there's a lot of bad actors, and I've been on the receiving end of working with one that's not ideal. So yeah, I think transparency is the biggest one, and just kind of like a zero. Say it how it is. If you're pissed off, you tell them, and when they're doing a good job, you tell them at the same time.
Yeah, I think that is like communication in any relationship.
Yeah, it's probably a more corporate way to put it. Yeah,
but honestly, like I think a lot of people, especially in Dubai, like sometimes addressing the elephant in the room is the best way than just like diverting it, colourfulling it, and making it look good. When
100%. Some of the conversations I've had with clients of mine, it's a bit like, fucking hell, I wouldn't want to be spoken to like that. But at the same time, it's, when there's money on the line, it kind of doesn't really matter. You need to get the job done.
100%. And with your mentorship that you and Harrison have done in Canada, do you both speak to him like all the time together to bring this business and to help your mentors in the startups? Do you always bring him on board, or is he specifically just for your business?
He's just for our business.
Okay.
And we speak with him once a week.
Wow. And what's been like the biggest outcome or like the biggest benefit for having mentorships?
I'd say probably realising how much you don't know.
Really?
Yeah, because I think especially a lot of people, kind of like our generation and doing semi-okay, you sometimes seem to get the better of yourself and get a bit of an ego and think you're unstoppable. But yeah, he's definitely opened my eyes to a lot that I didn't even think was possible, in different directions that I didn't even think that we should take, but is now as clear as daylight.
I mean, it's really interesting, isn't it? I feel like now in 2025, everyone's wanting to have the coach, the consultant, whether it be fitness, mindset, business. I feel like, and everyone that does it really reap the reward.
Yeah.
Would you say it's probably the biggest cost but the biggest benefit?
Yeah.
Makes me a little bit sick. Within your industry, obviously you're within the crypto and blockchain world. You studied business management. How have you then fallen or like taken a step into this new industry? Because it is very new.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, oddly enough, when I was in uni, one of my mates was trading crypto at the time, and he was making good money. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll start. And I was just losing money month after month. But I was beginning to really fall in love with blockchain technology at its core. So you just started to dive in, and then fortunately got introduced to an employee of this Canadian company. And it was literally, he got on the phone, he said, "You seem like a sound guy, do you want a job?" So I just said, "Yeah, go on then." And I completely my way in to, like making myself sound like I know what I'm talking about. Because I knew close to fuck all, honestly. But like I properly knuckled down, when I was onboarded, learning all these terms. Because the biggest turn off for crypto is you have to learn a new language.
Yes, it puts me off.
Yeah, it puts so many people off. But it is just like learning a new language. Once you understand it, everything makes so much more sense.
For anyone that's like doesn't know crypto or blockchain, like what would you say is the simplest format to like explain what it is?
That's a very good question. One I wasn't prepared for. I think it's very actually similar to like money in the bank, because we both know that a lot of people say that crypto doesn't exist. Yeah, well, now there's money in the bank. It's literally just numbers against a screen. The only difference is that these numbers on your crypto wallet, you fundamentally own them, and it's just a way for people to transact without any intermediary who can block a transaction. So yeah, it's kind of like a lot more self-sovereign.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't understand that. And I also was watching a TV program and someone stole like $80 million US or something from crypto.
Yeah.
Like, how did they stop that?
Yeah, that's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal, Harry. Jesus Christ.
There's been a couple of hacks close to home, but it's one of them. There's obviously ways and means to mitigate against it, but if I was to tell you about all those, then I'd need another couple of hours.
And when you say hacks close to home, like, do people target you? Is it easy to target someone within this industry?
I would say no, unless someone was specifically knew you were in crypto and tried to steal your phone or laptop. But otherwise, one of the kind of like key nature of crypto is it's kind of like ability to remain anonymous and private. So if someone saw a crypto wallet with X amount of money in, unless they've transacted with me previously and they know that's my wallet, there's nothing in this world to say that wallet belongs to me.
Interesting. Honestly, I find it really captivating, I would say, like how everything's becoming decentralized, even through like crypto, and everyone's like all these NFTs and whatnot, and now you've obviously just acquired WorkX, which is also a decentralized. Like, why do you think the whole world's going into this decentralized era?
I think our generation specifically are really quite independent and are not wanting to abide by governments or major corporates and just kind of do what they want to do. And obviously decentralization encourages all of that. Just feel like we're just living in this world where as well, like everything that we need realistically is on our phone, and
it's crazy, isn't it? But then going back to that, you said your mentor has taught you stuff that you didn't know. Obviously, you're in an industry that is very unknown. This decentralization is very unknown. Is he then teaching you stuff about this, or would he say you're teaching you other stuff and you're having to learn this unknown stuff? Yeah,
so we teach him more about our industry than what he teaches us. But what he's there to do is to bring like a corporate look and feel to the business. Because obviously he's been involved with massive global companies. which we are obviously not yet.
Soon to be.
Yeah. Although you could argue we're semi-global.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's more coming in from like an institutional level, making us feel ready for, you know, our exit.
Yeah.
And all like the business stuff related to that.
And for people that are watching this, like, and don't understand what an exit strategy is, I guess we've already spoken about acquisition, but how would you set your business up to exit?
I mean, there's an awful lot you need to do. It's kind of, it's like building a second business in itself, because, I mean, I'm quite messy in terms of like being an entrepreneur, so we've had to go through all like our financials, and then you've got to put like a business case for why someone would want to buy you. We're building out an advisory board at the moment, and we've got to like build out our current team further so that we, when, you know, if someone's buying us and me and Harrison are along part of the team, there's people in place to obviously replace us. Also, we've got to think of future people as the team expands for potential roles. So it's just, there's kind of like an endless, you know, box ticking exercise of things that we've got to have in place. SOPs as well. We have to document how anything in our business gets done.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy because I feel like everyone speaks about like setting up and starting up a business, but not many people actually touch on like how do you actually exit or how do you sell it?
Yeah.
Do you think that's why you guys have moved to Dubai now? Was it a better positioning?
No, we actually moved the business out of Dubai for a better positioning to be sold. We moved it to Switzerland. We thought it was more credible, and throughout doing the transaction of the WorkX, it made more sense to move Switzerland then as well. And long and short of it is we were able to benefit from like a 19.6 mil tax-free allowance.
Oh wow!
Going into Switzerland.
And obviously only being 26 and I guess we can kind of compute it, but like you weren't obviously taught at university, by the way, go to Dubai because it's personal income tax free, but then have your business set up in the Switzerland because you're going to have that tax free allowance that no longer is in the UK. Where have you been able to grasp all of this information? Because I think a lot of people are like, what the they're just getting their hand around of like, but so many people are just like, they leave uni and they're like, oh, I'm just going to go into this job. But I guess being in Dubai, you're surrounded by all these people like, yeah, you have to do X, Y, Z to get to here and da-da-da. Like, how have you taken on all this information, especially having the business such a short time and now like the exit strategy is coming into play? Yeah,
do you know, I guess I've got a pretty broad network and I leverage it all the time. So even like this, like building the data room for the exit where we obviously have all our documents and stuff, like I pass that round people in my network at home who all give me bits of advice, and a lot of it is, I mean, throughout doing the acquisition, I mean, the legal bill was ridiculous. And so, you know, they pointed me a lot in the right direction, and it wasn't kind of like my overall strategic insight to position the acquisition in such a way that we'd move the business at the same time and then be able to get that tax-free allowance. That was tax advice from, you know, the local council. But yeah, I think you just learn as you go on.
I think that's what everyone does as an entrepreneur, don't they? You just start and like, right, okay, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, literally you just see where it's, you know, see where you land.
Would you say you've had like a mentor as a whole, that someone you've like looked up to, that you've been like, I'm going to start up a business and exit in this way? Because what you've done is very fast in a short space of time. Has there always been someone you're like, I want to be you?
Yeah, so when I was in uni, I used to work for a guy. He was a Scottish entrepreneur living in Liverpool, and I used to clean his cars. He had like an obscene car collection. And I remember one day, sort of just coming into COVID, I spent 3 hours talking to him, and he literally left the coffee saying, I guarantee you won't listen to any of what I've said, but if you do, then I think it'll serve you well. And initially it didn't, as he predicted, and then it did, and it kind of has served me well. But the key thing that I always remember from that conversation with him is he said, if you're going to start a business, go and work for someone else first, learn exactly what they do right and what they do wrong, and for what they do wrong, go and go and be better. And that's pretty much exactly what I did.
When you say that, did you go in and like take points, and were you passionate about the job, or have you just been like, I'm just going to copy you and then I'm going to do better? Because I feel like some people get it mixed up, like I want a passion job, I want a career, or there's some people go in and like they're very like, no, I'm just going to be better.
So on day one, I think it was more strategic in the fact that I'm going to go and learn and then leave. And then as I was actually working there, I started to get very much into an employee mindset that I actually quite enjoyed. And as I was probably about 14 months into my position there, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to be my own boss. I quite enjoyed, whilst I was working hard, sometimes on the weekend, being able to like switch off and just be like, I'm going to have a round of golf this week. Yeah, literally. But then when, there was maybe some undelivery for some of my clients that I was taking to that business, that was then affecting my earning potential, that's when I was kind of like, right, okay, no, I can go away and do better. And ultimately, all the clients were coming to me saying, Harry, you're the only thing that's worth paying for here.
That's what a compliment.
Well, so that's just like, right, okay, well, if I'm the only thing that's worth paying for, then politely I should get all the money.
Yeah, 100%. And then how do you think do you think that was the drive to have that mindset shift from the employee mentality onto an entrepreneur mentality?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But like, delving into that, like, what would you say was the biggest shifts? Because I know you, I'm your friend. I know you don't stop working, and now you've just told me you like taking a weekend off. For anyone that doesn't know Harry, Harry doesn't stop working, and you'll text me, I'm still working 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. So like, where was this? Yeah, you got the money, but what else?
Yeah, I'd say during that sort of like my 14 months at that company to then my 18 month, that's when I started to read the Think and Grow Rich as well. And it kind of really started to highlight like probably my own potential, which I just wanted more than maybe the potential relationships that I was going to lose by leaving that company.
And do you know what I've really picked up on this conversation is how key and fundamental relationships have been to your success and the fundamentals of the whole business. I mean, it's something you've obviously really been able to create and build on and continue to grow with. For anyone that's looking to maybe start their own business, what piece of advice would you do to like really have these key relationships to get them to the next level?
On the relationship side, I'd say definitely just being true to, like, if you're trying to engage with the clients in a certain capacity, then again, just as I said before, just be transparent, and as well just have a laugh. Like one of our core values of our business is, which is now escaping my mind, which is really going to annoy me. We'll come back to that. But anyway, it's basically about having fun and just being light-hearted and stuff like that. You see me on a meeting, I am by no means corporate in any of my meetings.
Where'd you find like the balance then? Because obviously some people can take it too far.
Yeah, I'd say when you're discussing money, then you draw the line, you cut the and it's just a numbers game. But other than that, like the relationship building, just be fun. Like why, like the old working way was so fucking miserable and like just stiff, and you had to dress a certain way and act a certain way. It's like, why?
Yeah, and do you know what? I think it's our generation that's really changing it. And I do think, like, especially when you're working on big numbers, relationship is key to everyone. And I know we keep pinpointing it, but you're probably one of the only guests that's really, like, focusing on it, and you can see the value in it.
It's interesting you say that on relationship as well, because one of the other things about our business is we've never done any outbound sales. So 100% of our business is from relationships in our industry and referrals.
I mean, it is crazy, especially with an industry filled with scammers. Obviously,
Yeah.
like, that is probably why
Yeah.
it is so valuable. But then this is why I find it super interesting, is because you've obviously used like such like non-historic ways to reach out to business partners and clients, like Twitter and LinkedIn, which if any older listeners are listening to this, probably plus 30, like, what the like, they would be so mind boggled, especially with how much, like, having an evaluation of 32 million within 9 months is absolutely wild. And when you break it down, you're like, yeah, I met them on LinkedIn, I met them on Twitter, I've just got a good relationship. People are like, this is a full new way of working that not many people have heard of.
Yeah, and another interesting thing is the ex-CEO of the company I used to work for, he actually, once he sort of wrapped his head around me leaving and stuff, probably about 6-7 months later, he then referred a client to us to then work with, and we, they were a good client of ours. We served them well, and they served us well.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? And that just shows, like, how always having good relationships works, because like, he's obviously, you left him and he was like, oh my god, that's such a bad thing, but now he's referring you clients.
Yeah, I mean, that relationship, me and that's CEO, we were very close. And then when I left, there was threats of me being sued, blah, blah, blah. And then the relationship went back to semi what it was, with his, him referring business to us. And, now, truthfully, we don't really chat. But, I'd like to think that if I called up the phone, he'd answer. How
do you think you, like, lead your core values with the relationships into your team to ensure that every relationship or every client is coming up? Because I guess you're kind of dealing with someone's baby. A startup to everyone is someone's baby, and they can be so precious about it. They can be like, no, it's my name, blah, blah, blah. So how are you teaching your staff and really venturing that out into TGE ventures to make sure that they're all giving that same customer experience?
Yeah, I'd say it's a good question, really. I mean, obviously, all of our staff are aligned with, like, our core values, but also when we were building out our core values, we, like, built it out, like, with the team to see what resonated with them the most. And so I think because they were so dialed in from day one with building out how we want the company to look and feel, it's kind of just like half an extension of them as well. So I can't sit here and say that there's been too much training in that. I guess I've just made it, or collectively the team's just made it a nice environment to work in. Harrison definitely deals with more of the team touch points as well. Just because we've got so, like, split roles, it's just not part of the business that I've focused on too heavily.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key point of, like, having a good partnership is, like, you're going to get somewhere so much faster if you can identify what you're good at, what am I good at, right? You start with that and I'll start and we'll come together.
100%. So many people try and improve their weaknesses, whereas I know exactly what I'm shit at, and I pay zero attention to trying to improve at.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm fucking good at, and that's what I concentrate on, and that's what I look to improve. And so me and Harrison are very lucky because what I'm good at, he's shit, and what he's good at, or is that the same?
Yeah, that is right.
Basically, our strengths and weaknesses are opposite.
But then, how did you get the mentality to be like, do you know what? Fuck that! Did someone tell you? Was it like something like, by the way, or did you just be like,
no,
this works?
I just feel like it was kind of just common knowledge. Like, why try and improve something I'm bad at when I can get someone who's great at it in to do that for me?
I mean, it's really interesting. I think more people, especially within our generation, are very open to hiring people better. I feel like sometimes it's like the old generation that are quite egotistical, that are like, no, you're not better than me.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the CEO, I'm going to be it.
Yeah.
How do you think you got, like, over that ego and put it to the side in business so early on? Because usually it takes years.
Yeah, well, I think I basically just started to see the outcomes of getting the right people in. So, sometimes I'd maybe have a little go about putting something together and then employing someone to do it. And for what they could do, in the same time period as what I could do. Like, it was just, it blows me away what some of our team members put together. So yeah, I guess it's just trial and error.
It's complete trial and error. And what have you, like, obviously starting a business, there's always going to be failures, and I think people always get a bit scared of the failure.
Yeah, I've made a few mistakes, trust me.
What has been your biggest, learning from failures?
As in, like
business failures, obviously people usually, entrepreneurs are scared of failing. I personally think it's a good laugh.
Yeah, I'd say, and it's funny that CEO from like Scotland, he always said to me, he was like, you know, it's good if you learn from your mistakes, but it's better if you don't make them in the first place, which to a degree I do stand by, but also I think that it is somewhat reasonable. I mean, as long as you know your mistakes aren't going to sink the business. But you know, we made a mistake last year which, you know, cost us probably, we would have doubled our net bottom line position if we hadn't have made that mistake, which was pretty impactful. But it's just one of them. At least now that mistake has paved the way for you know, how we engage with all clients moving forward.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, I always say to people, as long as it comes as like a blessing in disguise, in the sense you've learned a really good lesson from it, don't pinch it. Don't get too upset by it.
No, I don't. Just
100%.
Might have been an extra Ferrari.
And what's been your biggest benefit of living in Dubai? Because obviously there's so many people within your industry here. How have you really reaped the reward of that?
Honestly, I'd probably say I haven't too much, especially with connecting with other people in the industry. The biggest benefit to me being in Dubai was, or is, the tax benefits. And, you know, I've got a small circle here, and that then really allows me to focus on work. You know, I am behind my desk 8 in the morning till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
I know.
Religiously.
I know.
Yeah, sorry. But, you know, that's what I'm here for. You know, happy to make mates, happy to do things on occasion. But, you know, I'm in and out. This is not where I want to spend the rest of my life. Of
course. And do you know what? That's a really good mindset and work ethic to have, especially at 26. What would you say to people that are struggling to just like lock in? Because there's so many people, I think me and you find it quite easy, just like, I'll be back. Give me a few months. I just need to get here. And I think it's just like our mentality. And if someone says, or if you text me like, can't see you, I'm like, yeah, sweet, you're working. But like, when I explain to other people, like, that's so weird. Like, how can you do that? That, like, what do your friends say? How would you explain it? Because what would you say to people that, like, how do you lock in like that?
I mean, yeah, for me, it's now my second nature. So for what I need to achieve, that comes first. Everything else is second. So I don't have to think about locking in. I am locked in already, and I have to think about taking time off. You know, always, mum and dad always say to me, "Oh, you know, why don't you have a bottle of wine and, you know, or go on holiday and, you know, stop working for a bit?" And it's like, well, why?
Yeah. Got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you know what? You're on the, I think, I take my hats off to you, because you and Harrison are definitely on the right route. You're working super, super hard in your 20s. You've not got too many ties right now that if you do decide, you could probably retire by 30. If your valuation of the company is already at 32 million, and we know what way the trajectory it's going, like, that's you're in such a strong position now to be in that mindset. But obviously some people could have that opportunity and they're too busy on the booze. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like a lot of people always say what they want, but they do nothing to actually go and get it. And they always say they want to be locked in and go and achieve the goals. It's like, right, okay, but what are you actually doing that's tangible and valuable, that's actually going to get you a step closer to what you want? 9 times out of 10, it's nothing. So I don't entertain any conversations with people who just tell me what they want.
Yeah.
It's either show me or don't waste my time.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? And do you know what? It's interesting, going back to the podcast, you saying you've drafted, you've scripted, and you've wrote a diagram for the next year. That's you putting the progress into place. And I think anyone that does that, it makes it a much easier timeline and stepping stone to be like, well, do you know what? I didn't do it this week, so that's why I'm not there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, no, exactly. And even, so I just kicked the table. Yeah, kind of like on my office walls, I've got planned out exactly what I need to do for this year. But, you know, on paper, I know exactly how the business is going to look financially over the next 5 years, assuming we hit our forecasts. But then, like, from a personal standpoint, I've got my goals mapped out until the 28th of December, 2032.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a 28 because obviously that's like the number.
Yeah, of wealth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, everything.
And like in great fine detail.
Yeah, exactly what I'm going to achieve, what cars, what watches, the families and friends that I'm going to support, the Centre for Entrepreneurship as like a charity that I want to set up.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And like, where did you get that from? Because a lot of people be listening to it and be like, what the fuck, you psycho? But like, who told you like, or like...
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, and they broke it down in every way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you write a plan of what you want to achieve, you write how you're going to achieve it, and then you write what you're going to give back for those goals coming into fruition. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what I'm doing on October 5th, 2029 or whatever, but yeah, I know high level. And the thing is, like, it's okay for some of those goals to change.
Yeah.
Like, one of them was I wanted a Porsche 911 and get a Ferrari. You know,
yeah, it's one of these things. But you know what's interesting? Everyone that's been on this podcast seems to always have one book, which is like a Bible to them.
Yeah.
And yours is clearly Think and Grow Rich. Is there any other podcast or anything you listen to that you're like, these are my top 5? If you're not listening to them, listen to them.
I listened to an audiobook called Built to Sell.
Right.
That's been quite valuable. However, I found myself that I was already subconsciously doing a lot of what the book was trying to teach me already. I'm not saying I know it all, but
slightly.
Yeah, that was also a good book. In terms of other podcasts, I'm not one of those typical entrepreneurs that listens to loads of podcasts or is like a health freak and, you know, gets up, goes gym, eats well. I don't go to the gym. I eat terribly. Most of my diet this week has consisted of raspberry mini rolls.
Oh, for bloody hell!
Obsessed. But it's kind of like I don't need all of that like background noise to then get me into the mindset to be an entrepreneur. It's like, no, I'm an entrepreneur by blood, and like I can do this fucking business even if I am just feeding myself mini rolls.
Yeah, it all comes down to what is what you are.
Yeah.
And people obviously say it benefits you being healthier mindset, blah, blah, because they're healthy. But I think a lot of people don't know about you is you don't drink.
Yeah.
So you don't have that background noise. So most people have like, oh, I want to go party, I want to go drink, I don't eat bad, blah, blah. And all of these add up. You just eating raspberry mini rolls, Harry, no offence to you, isn't really going to cause you much strain.
No,
you might get a little sugar high, but come on now. Like, you're going to be fine. Anyway, to finish up the podcast, anyone that's thinking about going into the Web3 blockchain space, what would you advise them?
Well, we've just built a university degree course, so I'd half argue to go and buy that. But I would say just, you know, learn as much as you can about it and go and work. So go and bullshit your way into a company that's in our industry. And start working for them and let them pay for your mistakes, and then, you know, make as much money as you can from it.
Makes it easier. Touched on your university. Give people a brief explanation of what your university is, because there isn't many crypto and Web3 university degrees or anything. So
no, so there's quite a lot of degrees on blockchain technology. And it's like business cases, but we developed a course that educates people on if they want to launch their own cryptocurrency, what the steps are from A to Z, and then kind of like how to scale it once it's live. So basically exactly what we deliver for our clients, but in a condensed format to go and educate people initially across America, and then it's also getting rolled out through the UK as well. Well,
there you go, guys. Sign up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great speaking with you.